My producer James sent me this article today that is really disturbing. It's in the Wall Street Journal. Dealerships give car buyers advice. Stop paying your loan and just buy a car and repo your current car. Now, that's such a dumb idea that I can't believe that people are actually doing it. But they are, apparently. The trade-in is where this is from the Wall Street Journal, where a buyer hands a car back to the dealership and uses it as credit towards another one, is often a crucial step in car buying. But some dealerships are instead telling buyers to give their old cars back to the lender, a voluntary repossession, and then sell them a new car, in a practice known as kicking the trade. I've never heard that phrase, kicking the trade. It's difficult to estimate how often this happens. Auto sales veterans say the practice is an open secret in some showrooms. Broadly, vehicles are getting more expensive and Americans are struggling to afford them. Dealerships now make more money arranging financing than selling vehicles, which has been true for 25 years. If the car loan goes bad, it typically isn't the dealership that's on the hook. It is the borrower and the lender. Consumer lawyers say they have seen more of such cases. 5 years ago, it happened 2 or 3 times a year, says Daniel Blinn, a Connecticut-based attorney who has sued dealerships and auto dealers. Now we're hearing about it once a month, not twice a year. Problems often begin when the consumers who buy cars they can't afford or sign loans they don't understand, but dealerships compound the trouble. So here's the deal, in other words. These unethical dealerships are suggesting to someone, well, we really don't want to take your trade-in. Just quit paying the payments on it. Call your lender and tell them to come get it. That's a repossession. That's a voluntary repossession. Now, if they don't want to take your trade-in, it's because you're upside down on the car, meaning you owe more on it than it's worth. Okay, so you owe $22,000 on a car that's worth $17,000. You're $5,000 in the hole. That would be a normal transaction. And this unethical dealership suggests to you that instead of covering the $5,000, the $22,000 that you owe, or the $5,000 that you're short were you to trade it in or sell it, instead of doing that, just don't pay the payments anymore and get repoed. Well, obviously, there's a moral component. You signed a piece of paper that said you were going to pay car payments and you didn't pay them. That's a moral component. There's a legal component. You're going to get your butt sued. There's a credit component, and that is you've destroyed your credit. Of course, they sell you a car before the repo actually occurs and before your credit drops. And so this is someone oftentimes that could be current on their car. And instead of just working a traditional trade-in, maybe going further in the hole, which would be a bad deal too, but instead of doing that, they do a voluntary repossession. Well, let me tell you what happens when you owe $22,000 on a car worth $17,000 and you get it repoed. They don't sell the car for $17,000. You can't get retail or private sale for a car at a repo lot. They auction at a repo auction. So what does a $17,000 car bring at a repo auction? $8,000 or $10,000. Okay? So instead of now owing $5,000 difference, when they come after you for the difference, because they will sue you for the deficit is now $12,000, $14,000 instead of $5,000. And you destroyed your credit. Also, you could get another car. Wow. Really stupid on your part. Unbelievably crooked, unethical, horrible. Get sued for it by the dealerships. So this is what happens when things get out of control. Of course, anytime someone's writing an article, a place like the Wall Street Journal, they have to say, well, cars are so expensive, people can't afford them. Not really. New cars are so expensive that you can't afford them if you're a broke person, which has always been the case, by the way. Broke people have never been able to afford things. They're broke people. When I was broke people, I couldn't afford a new car. I've been broke people. I know what broke people looks like. You can't afford a dadgum car. What's happened in the U.S. is not that cars have gone up so much that people can't afford a nice car. What's happened is that we've raised a whole generation or 3 of children who refuse to grow up and refuse to tell themselves no. And so they go buy cars they can't afford. And then when I want another car and someone says I still can't afford it, and as a matter of fact, I don't even want your trade-in, we say, meh, 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 and you throw a fit like a little baby child on the cereal aisle who's spoiled rotten and can't get a box of cereal. Like you're freaking 4 years old. You're red-faced and you have your little fists balled up and you stomp your little foot. And I'm entitled to a new car because I breathe air and I'm an American. You're not entitled to nothing. You're broke. You're entitled to what you've saved up the money and got the money for. That's all you're entitled to. Driving a new car is not a human right. That's dumber than crap. And people act like it is. You know, Americans just can't afford a new car. Americans have never been able to afford a new car, except the ones that had money. And all we've done is finance people into stuff that they can't afford. The average car payment in America right now, according to Experian, is $554 over 84 months. That's the average car payment in America today. Which some of you are sitting on $700 car payments and you feel like superior right now. No, you ought to feel more dumb, more stupid than the 554. And if you think you're superior because you got 354, no, you're still stupid. You have a car payment. Get rid of the car payment. Pay cash for things. That way you'll have some money. This is really not rocket science, you guys. And don't let some crooked dealership talk you into voluntary repo. Oh my goodness.